What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? And welcome to another video from yours truly, Tranquil Blab. I'm very excited. Today we will be discussing my favorite Halloween movies because it is this season of Halloween. I have some coffee here, and I have, on brand. I've had too much. This is a coffee cup that has some jujitsu and judo on it. It says Murder Yoga. So, as mentioned, I'm going to be discussing kind of some flicks in cinema that I watch every Halloween season. Well, that's not true. I don't watch all of these movies every Halloween season, but I'll usually catch a couple of these every Halloween season. If you haven't figured it out, if you are a new subscriber, I am quite the fan of Halloween. I love this holiday. I love first off, I just love the fall season, and I love the mischievous kind of nature of Halloween. I think it's really fun. Anyway, with all the fun comes all of the Halloween and horror movie genre that tends to get really popular this time of year. Now, I am a fan of cinema in general. I love the movies. I also am a fan of horror films and spooky films. But before I get into this list here, I'm not a giant fan of massive jump scare movies. I'll watch probably one a Halloween season, but to be totally honest, I think jump scares are kind of a cop-out and a little bit of cheap film trickery. So even though they're effective on making you scared, it's usually not my favorite kinds of movies. I'm talking about there's the big ones like The Conjuring and Insidious and stuff like that. And I do enjoy those movies, but typically these are not my favorite films in the horror genre. I'm also not a big gore guy. There are some decent gore movies that I don't mind. The original Saw was really good. That was more of a drama, and then as the Saw series progressed, it just became more and more about the gore. The Terrifier movies, haven't seen those. Hostel, never seen Hostel. So now that you are kind of familiar with my mindset going in, I think this list will make a lot more sense of kind of what I enjoy. I will have you know that for about 80% of the Halloween season, I watch silly, scary stuff. I kind of like keeping it light, a little fun, a little funny. And then occasionally I'll throw in a real banger of a scary movie. So with that being said, part of the list are kids movies, stuff that I grew up watching when I was younger that I liked. Okay, enough rambling. Let's get into it. So, number one, also, these are not ranked in any order of favorite to least favorite. I just sat down with pen and paper, made a list, okay? So, number one, we have 1993 Hocus Pocus, Disney Channel classic. I have not seen the second Hocus Pocus, but, the first one's beloved. It scared me as a kid. And I think growing up, I ended up, liking it a little bit more because of that. That might be a reoccurring theme on my list. Typically stuff that scared me as a kid. As I grew up, became more resilient and more brave, I guess. it was fun to revisit the movies that scared me, and watch them with a different perspective. Hocus Pocus, absolute classic. 1978, John Carpenter's Halloween. John Carpenter? I think he did Halloween. I'm Googling this now. It was John Carpenter. I don't know why I couldn't remember that. John Carpenter's Halloween, 1978. This is a absolute classic. Out of all the classic Halloween horror monsters, Michael Myers is probably not my favorite, but he's higher up on the list. But I will say, out of all of the classic, horror movie icons that kind of came out of like the 80s and the 90s, like Freddy and Jason and Michael, out of all of their original films, Halloween is my favorite one. I just like it. It's eerie, it's spooky, it's set in a fall Halloween, town. It's just a absolute classic. If I'm going for like a more serious, scary movie, I wouldn't really say Halloween, is like fun. I guess it could be fun, but you know what I mean. It's more serious. Okay, to really change gears here, 1998, another kids film, Halloween Town. No Michael Myers in this one. This is just a classic, kids film that I watched growing up. Disney in the late 90s, like their Halloween movies, I was just all about them. I was not really a Disney or Disney Channel kid growing up, but I did like their Halloween stuff that they did, especially, in the late 90s when I was still a little kid. So, this is when the Halloween Town franchise came out, and it was just really fun. It was a big hit. I actually just rewatched Halloween Town for the first time in probably over a decade, and obviously not scary, but there are some scenes that, as like I don't know how old I was, like a 6, 7, 8-year-old, something like that, there are some scenes that I'm like, oh, that actually probably would have scared me. So good flick. 1988, we have the Tim Burton classic Beetlejuice. Now, just like Hocus Pocus, I haven't seen the new Beetlejuice, but I have seen the original Beetlejuice many a times. I would say, out of all of Tim Burton's films, this is probably in my top 3. It's really weird. It's really macabre, and it's really kind of zany. And for me, that's really the essence of Halloween. That's zany, macabre, wacky. Like, that's the spirit of Halloween for me. So that movie encompasses it wonderfully. And Michael Keaton, absolute master. Tim Burton made Beetlejuice in 1988, and then about a decade later, he comes back, almost a decade later, 1999, with Sleepy Hollow. Absolutely wonderful. Like, not a Beetlejuice, Halloween Town, obviously, Hocus Pocus, more lighthearted, fun kind of Halloween stuff. Sleepy Hollow, Ichabod Crane, Tim Burton, Johnny Depp, like Miss Ricci. I can't remember her name, it doesn't matter. Serious Sleepy Hollow tale, absolutely fantastic. Pretty gory. Well, I don't want to say pretty gory, because compared to like Terrifier and stuff, but like, there is gore in it, and I saw it when I was probably like 9, scared the hell out of me. And now it's like a staple. Like Sleepy Hollow, if you haven't seen it and you like that story, definitely check this out. It's very good. Okay. On my list here, I have some stars next to certain films, and those are to indicate the ones that I really, really enjoy. So this is our first star on the list. It's from 2001, and it's a film titled Donnie Darko. This stars Jake Gyllenhaal, and I would say some people don't really consider this a Halloween film. I absolutely do. The whole movie revolves around like this time loop, and the center of the time loop is like Halloween night. So even though it's not like, there's a monster and people are, trying to avoid, it's not like your classic like monster film. But the setting is like fall Halloween. And I absolutely love this movie. It's really odd. And that's kind of what I like. Donnie Darko, 2001. Check it out. 1984, we have Ghostbusters. Don't really have to say much about this film. It's fun. It's, semi-kid friendly. And it's just a good time. It's just a good ride. Keeps the viewer's attention and is pretty endearing. Ghostbusters, great film. Let's keep moving. So, talking about the late 90s Disney Channel movies, Halloween movies, they came out with a film called Don't Look Under the Bed. Don't Look Under the Bed. Don't Look Under the Bed. And, again, as previously mentioned, this movie scared the living shit out of me. And, as I got older, I rewatched it, and it was quite fun to rewatch it and obviously not be scared. And, kind of look at some of the acting and the plot. It's a good time. It's a good laugh. Also, decent makeup. Like the final boogeyman at the end. I remember thinking like, oh, makeup team, pretty good. Let's move on. This film is probably the first film on the list that actually still gets under my skin a little bit if I watch it. Like if I watch it late at night, turn all the lights out, this will creep me out still a little bit, even though I've seen it many times. And we are talking about 1999's M. Night's classic, The Sixth Sense. This is so popular in pop culture still, like 25 years later, that I don't think I could spoil this for anybody. But if by some miraculous instance you have not seen The Sixth Sense, if you have not seen The Sixth Sense, and you are looking for a fantastic ghost movie, this is the one. Like, go watch this immediately. No spoilers. Good acting, good directing, good plot. Fantastic. Let's keep going. 2009, this is also a kid's movie, Coraline. Fantastic claymation designs, fantastic story, zany, a little weird, love it. Absolute Halloween classic. 1981, Sam Raimi, The Evil Dead. Again, dark, creepy, little zany, little odd. Absolute classic, fun makeup. It's just a wild ride, a good time. I love the weird, spooky stuff. The Evil Dead, all the Evil Deads are good. Evil Dead 2's good, Evil Dead 3's good. The original one's my favorite. We've come to the next starred movie on my list. This is going to be a cliche, but I am going to talk about 1980's The Shining. Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. This is my favorite classic horror film, much like many other people. It's just, I don't need to say all the stuff, it's already been said. It's just an absolute classic. This also still gets under my skin. I just reread the book, Stephen King's book, this year. The book is absolutely fantastic. I know the book and the movie, diverged a little bit, but I like them both equally. And as a pro tip, 2019's Dr. Sleep. It's a sequel to The Shining. It was directed by Mike Flanagan. Absolutely love Mike Flanagan. With sequels, I often think they're just going to be bad. Mike Flanagan, obviously not better than Kubrick's Shining, but Doctor Sleep was a much better story than I thought it would have been. And the movie was fun. So if you like The Shining and you want to watch a fun sequel, Doctor Sleep. Okay, my next starred film, we are talking about 1982's The Thing. The Thing, The Thing, The Thing. I am not a fan of body horror. I respect, Cronenberg. I respect some Lynch stuff that he does. I respect the body horror genre, but it's not for me. It's gross. I don't really like it. Never seen like Videodrome or anything like that, but I probably should. Anyway, The Thing is body horror, and it is amazing. It's so good. The practical effects in this movie, if you haven't seen it, are just absolutely outstanding. And the story is super gripping and really gets under your skin. Fantastic film. Specifically, the 1982 one. Don't watch the remake. The next film we're going to be talking about is 2018's Hereditary. There are not many scary movies that come out nowadays that scare me and are modern, and I think they're good. Like a lot of modern horror movies I don't think are good. This one's amazing. Ari Aster, wonderful debut here. Midsommar was also good. I didn't see Beau is Afraid, but Hereditary is an instant classic, like amazing. Speaking of modern movies, horror movies that were good, we have 2017's Get Out, Jordan Peele's first horror directorial debut. Absolutely fantastic, good story, good injection of humor throughout his movie. Like he balanced it well, and just fantastic, amazing actors and actresses in Get Out. Very, very good classic spooky movie. My next starred movie, even though it's not really a movie, it's a TV show. I bent my own rules here a little bit. It's a TV show, but it's very good. 1959's The Twilight Zone, Rod Serling. Like, I can't tell you how much I love this show. The original series, there's been a lot of adaptations over the years, but the original 1959, it is just so good. It's black and white, slow paced, lots of dialogue, and I don't even care. It's so good. The twists at the end are so good, the writing so good, the acting so good. If you've never seen The Twilight Zone, and you think it's like too old, just watch a few episodes. They're quick. It's very, very good. Highly recommend it. I missed the date on a few of these. This was mid-2010s, but Shutter Island, absolutely amazing. I don't know if you consider this more of a thriller than a horror movie, but Leo, Mark Ruffalo, amazing movie. 1984's Nightmare on Elm Street, the one that started all with Freddy. Again, just like Halloween, the first installment of Nightmare on Elm Street is my favorite. It's just fun. It's a good time. It's technically a slasher, which I'm not really a fan of, but this one's great. A young Johnny Depp in this movie. We have 2019's Lake Mungo, an Australian film. Classic ghost story. Just really well executed acting and directing style, and very subtle scares, which I like a lot. Okay, moving on, we have Robert Eggers' The Witch, 2015. Also, I included The Lighthouse here. I think The Witch is definitely a horror film. The Lighthouse is questionable, but I would say The Lighthouse is also a horror film. And Robert Eggers, you're fantastic. The Witch is my favorite witch horror movie of all time. It's slow pace, slow burn, gets under your skin. It's so good. Okay, we have The Ring, 2002, the American adaptation, but I couldn't include The Ring without talking about Ring You from 1998, the original source material. The Ring still scares me to this day. I know that might be silly. I saw this in theaters when I was probably 10 or 11 years old, and it scared the living shit out of me. Like, it freaked me out to the core. It just completely annihilated me. Like, I was so scared for weeks after that. Wouldn't turn the TVs on. Was always looking over my shoulder. You know, that kind of stuff. And if I watch this movie today, it still is creepy. So, fantastic, fantastic scary movie. 1991, The Silence of the Lambs. I think this would be considered a horror movie. It's more of like a suspense thriller, psychological movie, but I guess you could consider it a horror movie. A fantastic, you know, drama, cop, like cat and mouse kind of movie. It's, you know what it is. Silence of the Lambs, everyone knows Silence of the Lambs. So, you know, fantastic, fantastic movie. So good. I couldn't talk about my favorite horror movies without talking about Night of the Living Dead, 1968. You know, the movie that really started the zombie genre. And also, you know, decent makeup, good social commentary, like underneath the monsters. Just an excellent, excellent film. It's still good today, even though it's a little bit older now. It's worth a watch for sure. Speaking of movies that are a little dated, we have 1960s Psycho, Alfred Hitchcock, of course, and a classic. You know, everyone knows this movie. I saw this also when I was very young, and funny story, I actually stopped taking showers for probably like 2 weeks after I saw this. I still like bathed myself, like I took baths, but I was so freaked out to get in the shower and like close the curtain, because this movie like scared me so much as a kid. But you know, fantastic twist, fantastic writing, just a classic. If you're looking for like a fun scary movie that is serious, like there is gore and there is scares, but underneath is kind of like an element of fun, kind of similar to like Get Out, if you're looking for something like that. 2011's Cabin in the Woods. It starts out as like your typical cookie cutter horror movie and kind of like undoes the whole genre of horror, which is very fun. It's a good time. I have a star next to this film, so this is one of my favorites. 2014's It Follows. Just a fantastic horror movie. There's kind of a new horror monster in this that abides by like certain rules you have to follow, and it kind of creates this really deadly like game that's going on during the whole movie. Also, fun fact, the people that directed this, that I cannot recall their names, they wanted to create a kind of society in this movie that was timeless. They didn't want it to be dated, so they picked certain furniture and technology and stuff like that to give the movie a feel of like you don't know what time this is taking place, which I absolutely love. That it plays into the like surrealism, weird horror stuff that I love. It Follows, fantastic movie. Okay, the last one on my list, a big star next to this. I can't tell you how much I enjoy these TV shows. Again, it's a TV show. I can't tell you how much I enjoy these TV shows and how much influence they've had on me, but I absolutely adore them. And we are talking about 1995's Goosebumps, the live TV show, and 1990's, more importantly, Are You Afraid of the Dark? Now, I watched both of these as a kid, and they both scared me really badly. I also grew up reading Goosebump books and stuff like that. So I I really enjoyed watching these for some reason as a kid. It was scary to me watching the episodes start, like the intro themes. It scared me. And then as I watched, and I would like conquer an episode, like I would watch the whole episode, it just made me feel really alive. It was really fun. So I love both of them equally. Goosebumps is an absolute classic. As I've gotten older, Are You Afraid of the Dark is my more favorited out of the two. It's a little bit darker and honestly a little bit scarier. If you like children's anthology, horror, anything, and you don't know about Goosebumps or Are You Afraid of the Dark from the 90s, you need to watch them immediately. And finally here, just to kind of wrap up the kind of movies that I like, these are my favorite horror movies I've watched from, well, I shouldn't say from this year, but these are the horror movies I've watched this year that I have enjoyed the most. And I haven't watched, like, these movies are not from 2024, but I enjoyed them the most. So this year, this Halloween season, I watched Late Night with the Devil. Very good, very fun. Talk to Me was also very good and very fun. I saw Barbarian. Barbarian was great, really original, really fun. And then really not fun and really gory and fucked up. We have When Evil Lurks. That movie goes hard, and I loved it. I hope everyone out there has a very happy Halloween, and I hope you have lots of fun and, eat candy, but not too much candy. And just go out there, smell the crisp air, have the leaves crunch under your shoes, and just enjoy the season. It's the best. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, I'll see you later. Goodbye.